Good afternoon, prospective students and parents. Welcome as I take you on our journey through occupation. I'm Shireen Damanser, a clinical educator in the Division of Occupational Therapy. Occupation is the ordinary and familiar things that people do every day. Occupations are activities or tasks which engage a person's time and energy and can be categorized as self-care, productivity, leisure, play, rest, or sleep. Occupation should be purposeful and meaningful to the person performing it. Hence, all the things you want to do, need to do, and expected to do in your life is an occupation. So whether we eat, sleep, work, pray, or love, we are engaging in occupation. As adults or students, we usually engage in 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, and 8 hours of daily self-care activities. But as you've probably all experienced during this lockdown, our world was thrown topsy-turvy and we all experienced occupational imbalance. Some of us worked too much and others slept too much. So activities of daily living are categories of routines, tasks, and subtasks that we perform to fulfill the requirements of our roles. And our roles are that of mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, daughters, sons, or workers. And these categories include the self-care occupations, productivity or school occupations, play or leisure occupations, as well as rest occupations. If we break these categories up and we look at what is self-care, it is exactly what it says, taking care of yourself, but it's also known as maintenance activities. So basic self-care tasks are those that we initially learn as young children. Over the years, these tasks are perfected and become more automatic, that we do not really have to think about how we do them. And these self-care tasks generally include feeding and eating, dressing, grooming, and grooming. That is actually how we take care of our personal self, our appearance, that is applying makeup or cosmetics, drying our hair, and caring for our nails, as well as toileting, which means that we need to get in and out from the toilet and know how to use it appropriately and clean oneself afterwards. Bathing, and we also have functional mobility and transferring, and that is how we get around in our home or within the environment that we find ourselves. Following these self-care tasks, we also have advanced self-care tasks, and this is how functional communication, such as sending and receiving information, and normally this happens around about in your teenage years. But in today's life, we can see that the children as young as 3 and 4 are already engaging in functional communication because they are more advanced in using the telephone and computers than what we are. Then we also find socialization and how we interact with people and make use of opportunities to build relationships, how we manage medications and respond to emergencies, as well as our sexual expression, being more advanced self-care. Productivity is the state of quality of being productive and effective, especially in industry, as measured in terms of the rate of output per unit of input. Hence, productivity or school occupations are those done to enable a person to provide support to themselves, their family, or community through the production of goods or the provision of services. It is therefore defined as work-related, but not just paid work. Being productive is part of healthy living. And a little bit later, we will talk a little bit about how occupation and health are related or interrelated. So if we look at productivity, we can also look at home management as being productivity. That is clothing care, where we actually have to do laundry, sorting, ironing, mending, as well as cleaning, meal preparation, shopping, managing your finances, household maintenance, safety and precautions, and taking care of others. Our vocational activities that we normally do are exploring different vocations, acquiring a job, job performance, and also how we engage as volunteers within different organizations. So performing unpaid activities is also regarded as productivity. Leisure or play is normally intrinsically motivated. And these are the activities that we engage in for amusement, for relaxation, for enjoyment, or even self-expression. And these can be any types of activities. It can be crafts, sports, games, or just actually resting, or doing activities that bring about calmness in our lives. Then we have play. What is play? Play is an important part of a child's development, and children learn through play. But play has changed at the beginning of this millennium, where children engage more in playing on computers instead of going through the normal phases of play, such as solitary play, parallel play, interactive play, cooperative play, where we play and we learn how to actually socialize, share, and we learn life skills through play. At the beginning of the new millennium, children are playing more on devices, but also the times that we find ourselves in, children actually don't play outdoors as frequently as they used to promote healthy development due to unsafe areas that children find themselves in, or parents just not feeling comfortable with having their kids outdoors. So why is understanding and knowing what occupation is important? It is important because OTs work in 5 broad domains, and it's the domain of child learning, development, and play, and it's better known as CLTP. Physical health, rehabilitation, mental health and psychiatry, work practice, and community development practice. So why is occupation so important if we look at these domains? Essentially, an occupational therapist uses the occupation that the client engages in as a means to improve or maintain independence in certain areas of their life. And occupation is viewed as a natural biological mechanism for health. And health, on the other hand, is a resource for engaging in your occupations. So if you are not healthy, you can't engage in your occupations optimally. And if you are not engaging in your occupations, this can also affect your health and well-being. Usually, health is influenced by having a choice and control in your everyday occupations. And if you think back and you think about how you get enjoyment and fulfillment through engaging in the occupations that you love doing, that has meaning and purpose to you, and how that makes you feel, whether it is mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, your well-being is affected by your engagement in those occupations. And in the same way, we use occupations to treat illness and restore health within our clients. And we use occupation for them to reach their maximum capacity. People also have the right to participate in occupations that are relevant to their community. and they need to participate in a balanced range of purposeful occupations for their health. So if we move on and we look at physical health, we've got some pictures that you can see within the physical health rehabilitation. The occupational therapist can work with any age range. So we work with from birth right until old age. There's not a stipulated age group that we work with. So throughout the lifespan, we can work with the blind, with an acutely medically ill client, with stroke patients, with patients that have incurred injuries through accidents or at work. We also work with people that have chronic disorders or diseases. And we use occupation. And in the first picture, you can see the occupational therapist with a blind child, teaching the child how to get dressed. And as we said earlier, one of the occupations that we engage in is self-care. And dressing is a task within self-care. So here she's teaching the child to get dressed. The second pic is a client learning to apply makeup so that she's still independent in her grooming. In the third pic and in the fourth pic, it's a patient with a hand injury where the occupational therapist provides splints and suspension to help the patient regain function in their hands. And physical splinting is one of the unique things that occupational therapists do. It is used to correct the deformity, assist with movement, and help manage pain and functional positioning. In the domain of mental health and psychiatry, the incidence of mental illness is increasing daily due to the stress that people experience in society. This stress is brought about by violence, substance abuse, suicide, poverty, and unemployment. And as we are all very aware of what the social determinants of health are, one of the main issues that South Africa is grappling with is poverty and unemployment. So this has a direct effect on people's mental health. And 1 in 4 people in the general population will have a mental health issue during their lifetime. So intervention in mental health and psychiatry is offered to individuals and groups in inpatient and outpatient facilities. And the focus is on promoting mental health and well-being through the use of occupation. In child learning, development and play, children learn through play because play is a child's work. So play is usually used as a means for a child to engage in learning or to further a child's development to become on par, or kids actually just use play in treatment to be on par with play stages. And using play in learning, such as an activity as hopscotch in the playground, impacts on a child's learning within the classroom. So this, here you can see with children, play is used optimally as a means to for treatment. Work practice is one of the other domains, and within work practice, we offer vocational assessments and rehabilitation. So when people are injured at work and following rehabilitation, they will come for a work assessment, and based on the outcomes of the assessment, the occupational therapist might need to make arrangements with the employer for reasonable accommodation to make sure that the person can go back to work, if it means building a ramp, installing rails in the bathroom or in the corridor so that the person is mobile at work, or even if it means that the desk needs to be raised so the wheelchair can fit under it. On the other hand, the occupational therapist also provides work practice or work school to work transitions where learners in special needs schools or in the schools for the physically impaired, they are trained on site in the open labour market, and supported employment is offered between the employer, employee, and the occupational therapist, where the occupational therapist goes on site and offers initial support so that the client settles back into a work routine. Then we have community development and practice. And here, support groups for vulnerable populations are offered. Working towards the integration of the disabled person back into the community, and disabled can be somebody with a physical disability or a mental health issue being reintegrated into the community. It's also about promoting healthy programs in the community. It's about advocating for those vulnerable groups, that is the old people that are struggling with gender issues, children, the refugees. Those are the vulnerable populations, so advocating for them. And then, of course, occupational therapists play a big role in influencing policy. So the question is ultimately, is this for you? Do you make a good candidate for studying occupational therapy? Do you have the communication skills, interpersonal skills, problem-solving skills? Do you have a helpful nature? You are good at organizing, patient, compassionate. You have empathy. You are creative. Or you just actually have good observational skills, because that is what we do. We observe, we listen, and we learn, and we apply the skills that the people need to be reintegrated or to achieve their maximum potential. But we also need to be flexible and to think abstractly and listen to everyone's story, because everybody's story matters. We also construct interesting devices. So we are always busy being innovative, discovering new things, doing new things. We also help people develop new skills, no matter what the age, no matter where they find themselves. We assist those people to develop new skills so that they are able to find an employment and sustain themselves. So OT has been around for forever. And the one little pic on the slide says, medicine adds days to life, but OT adds life to days. And that is so true. And this profession is constantly evolving. The focus has moved from physical health to mental health and overall well-being across the lifespan in different contexts. It's about working with individuals, families, and communities. It's about focusing on lifelong learning. So hence, we also offer those postgraduate studies. Here are just some pictures of our students across the years and the uniforms they've been wearing and how the uniform has changed over the years. We now find ourselves in the bottle green scrubs. As an occupational therapist, you have to also be registered with the Health Professional Council of South Africa. The Occupational Therapy Association of South Africa is our national association. And then in March 2018, 2 years ago, the World Federation of Occupational Therapists Congress was hosted on African soil for the first time in Cape Town. So I'm an OT. but what is your superpower? We will have questions a little bit later in a few minutes' time. So hold on to those questions and post it in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shireen, for your presentation. I guess my superpower is also being an OT. So, hi everyone, my name is Israfil, and I'm one of the lecturers within the Division of Occupational Therapy. I'm actually the lecturer for mental health and psychiatry, OT practice in mental health and psychiatry. So I actually graduated from UCT. I did my undergraduate studies at UCT, and I graduated in not too long ago in 2013. And then, as Shireen has just mentioned, that OT is lifelong, and somehow OT has chosen me. I always tell the students that I didn't choose OT. I never wanted to do OT. I've always wanted to do medicine. And then somewhere along the line, OT chose me, and I according to OT, I even applied to medicine in my second year of OT, and I never got in. And I stayed in OT, and now I am actually a lecturer in OT. I went on to do my master's degree in occupational therapy, and I focused specifically on schizophrenia and schizophrenic patients returning to work. And now I am basically specializing or my area of focus is mental health and psychiatry within occupational therapy. So I won't take any more of your time, and I'm very aware of the time, but I just want to say that we are looking forward to welcoming the new group or the new cohort of students, and I highly recommend you to apply to UCT occupational therapy program. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Tamia Smith, a first year occupational therapy student. I'm here to talk about my quick transition from high school to university. It was a very exciting yet quite tricky, to say the least. It was difficult because at first it felt as if it was thrown in the deep end and nothing can really prepare you for it. However, what I liked about UCT was the amazing support structures, and we have faculty and res mentors that help with our academics and our social lives, which means that UCT does not just focus on the academics, but also the holistic life of the students. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Dean. I am a third year occupational therapy student at UCT. So with what Tamia said, I agree with. UCT really is there for you. But I'm just going to be talking more about what we went through. So with first year, we were more at upper campus. We had psychology on upper campus. We came back to do OT at med school. And then with second year, psychology was phased out. We did one semester at upper campus, with the other part being at med school. And then for the second half of second year, it was just at med school. And I felt that second year was really difficult because we do human biology and anatomy, we do occupational therapy, we do psychiatry, as well as psychology. So I found second year really difficult for me. And then I moved on eventually to third year, which is where you really understand what OT is all about. All the work that you do in first year and second year that you're not understanding really comes through in third year, where we attend hospitals. So we call it block. So Shireen mentioned it. The two domains that we do in third year is physical and physical block, and then also mental and psychiatry block. So it's really helpful to really pay close attention to what happens in first and second year, as everything that you go through in first and second year helps to with your experience in third year. So yeah, and then also I'm one of the only guys in OT. It's really focused, there's a lot of females, and it's really something as a male which you have to get used to, and you actually end up with a lot of female friends that really help you get through the degree. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. So just thank you for everyone for listening to our presentation, and I really hope that we've that we've coerced you into applying to UCT Occupational Therapy. We are one of the top programs, in my opinion, and a lot of other people can also agree with me here. So yes, please enjoy and the rest of the other presentations, and please do apply to UCT Occupational Therapy. Thank you.